Hi, I'm Charlie Roadman, Austin criminal defense attorney, and I'm here with my law partner, Marianne Espiritu, and we're going to chat about expunctions, specifically how they work in Texas and Travis County. So, Marianne, you and I have done hundreds.
Yes.
What I wanted to talk about was sort of what people misunderstand or what assumptions they come in with, because people tend to think, almost like in this digital age, right, that you can just uncheck a box, right, and something, or
Right.
just move everything into the delete folder and, hit empty trash. But expunctions aren't like that. There's actually fairly complicated. So why are they complicated?
So it's not like a credit report where after a certain amount of time, the criminal history drops off. That's not it. It's on your criminal history forever. Even if your case was dismissed, it does still have, date of arrest, county of arrest, and then disposition, dismissal, and people can still see that it happened, but yes, it was dismissed. And so it's important to get it expunged because an expunction will wipe that offense off of your criminal history. And if that's the only offense you have on your history, then you no longer have a criminal history.
Well, let me say, why isn't it simple? Why can't we just tell the police to erase the record?
Well, because there are so many entities that have this information, and they have to be ordered to do it, first of all, by a judge. You can't just say, hey, can you erase my criminal history because I say so? So first we have to file a petition with the court. And then in that petition, we have to list every single entity or agency that has that information. So it's the DPS. It's, in this case, Travis County, the Clerk's office, APD, the FBI, all of these entities, counseling and education services, if you've taken any classes.
The sheriff's office.
The sheriff's office.
The county attorney or the district attorney.
Yeah. And so we have to draft a petition and make sure that all of that is in there. In addition to, there are private companies that buy the information from the DPS. So the DPS is where all of the courts in Texas send their information. The DPS is like the clearinghouse for criminal history. And then private companies like, Check One, InstaCheck on, all of these private online background checks, they buy that information from DPS. And so we also list any vendors that have bought that information.
So when we expunge something, we list all these agencies. So that I'd say on average there's 10, right? Like 10, and then through DPS we also communicate to all these other private companies that have purchased the information.
Correct.
And the thing, I say they talk about the criminal justice system. It's like it's a system. It's more like these 10 entities that sort of are related in a field, but the sheriff's office doesn't talk to the clerks, or they don't have a direct connection. So It's just totally separate entities. And so when we file this petition, all of these agencies are told, hey, John Doe wants to expunge his case, okay? And it gives these agencies an opportunity to object, okay? Right? And so they have this 30-day period if they're going to say John Doe doesn't qualify, okay? They have that opportunity. Now, it's really the county attorney's office is going to be the one that objects. But but part of the procedure, which is defined in the legislation of how an expunction works, is you have to do this process. So what happens after we file the petition?
So after we file the petition, there's a 30-day wait period. We get a court date at least 30 days out. Sometimes it's longer. Well, most of the time it is longer. It depends on the court's dockets, which are always, busy. And so, but there has to be at least 30 days for all of the agencies to look into their records and, one, make sure that this is something that they agree with. There have been clerical errors, for instance, that a case was dismissed, but it's not showing as a dismissal. It's good to know that up front instead of just having them object to it, so we can fix that error. And so, if no agency objects to it, then on court date, the judge will sign the expunction, and then it's sent out to all of the agencies that are listed on that.
And they're instructed to physically shred or digitally delete any record of the arrest.
That's correct.
And in Travis County, they don't require our clients there for that court date, which is nice.
Right.
Back when I started, that some judges wanted people, some
Yes.
didn't,
And
now everyone's just like, no. So one of the things that I, when we get a client's case dismissed, part of our procedure is we send the final email says, here's the date you're eligible for expunction.
Mm-hmm.
And probably about a third of our clients expunge their cases. I would say, but I wish more did. Okay, because it really is something that in the future we hear it all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I wish I would have expunged it because I've got a job interview tomorrow. People call us,
Right.
some of them say I have it today. Can you expunge it today? Like, no, it takes, because the whole process from hiring us to filing the petition to getting the court date to having a reasonable expectation of the things being deleted, it's 6, 7, 8 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I tell clients to keep checking up to a year.
Mm-hmm.
The trickle down theory. I mean, DPS will get the order and they will change their records. But then what about the people that are buying it? I heard that these private companies, sometimes they don't buy information, but every quarter.
Right.
And so I tell clients, to expect a year for it to be completely gone. And then, with the internet now, nothing is ever going to be completely gone. But, we'll do the best we can. But maybe somebody got the information from that private company who got it from that company, and so on and so on. So it could potentially always be on the internet, but the expunction is better to do than not to do it.
Right. And it'll be, the criminal history checks, won't show it,
Correct.
Like it, what you're talking about is like maybe a mugshot somewhere, but
Right.
even these companies that have it, I've experienced when you present them with the expunction, they generally take it down.
They do. Yeah.
So, well, good. I'm trying to think of anything else that people really misunderstand about it. I mean,
Just the timeline. If you have something big coming up, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not, even though we've presented the timeline as 30 days to a hearing and then 30 days to the DPS. It's not a perfect world, and it's not going to be taken off in 90 days. It's just not. So even if you think that this is the job that you're going to stay in, that you're going to retire in, it is a good idea to get that expunged, and then you don't have to worry about it in the future.
yeah, and I say you should expunge, seal, non-disclose every possible thing that you're eligible to get done. I mean, that's just, today's day and age, it's much better to have nothing show up on your criminal history than even one thing that was dismissed.
Right.